We have studied these CSS properties in detail. It's now time to study one more property, that is position. You can change position of an element in the web page. This position property has got different values. First one is static, it is a default value. Then relative, absolute, and fixed. We will study those one by one. To change position of an element, CSS provides four properties: left, right, top, and bottom. The default value for position property is static. That means the position is decided by the normal flow of the page. When the position is static, that time those four properties, they have no meaning. Let us understand this through example. You can see here 4 div elements are there. They are packed in outer div element. All these div elements have been specified some width, seen full screen size. Let me check position of any element in the Google Chrome developer tool. Right click, inspect. Select any element, suppose this container element. Under styles, all properties are not shown. You go to computed. Here all properties along with their values are shown. I will type here position. Yes, you can see default value for position is static. Alright. Now let me use relative value for some element. Let us use for this container element. Position is relative. No change is there. You will observe the change when you will use one of the four properties: left, right, top, bottom. If I say here now left is 100 pixel, you see the change. What happened? The container is now at 100 pixel away from its normal position. This is its relative position. We will say the container is 100 pixel left relative to its original position. You may say minus 100 pixel. So some part of the container element is not visible now, right? If I write for top 50 pixel, tell me what will happen. The element is moved 50 pixels from its top position. Of course, position relative, if I comment out this statement, this property, then left and top has no meaning. Obviously, because now position is static, and when the position is static, that time left, top, right, bottom properties, they have no meaning. You got it? Now let me comment out these properties. We will try now for some inner element. Let us say this second div element. Its class name is 2. Position is relative. Let us use top property, 30 pixels. So from its normal position, vertically it is shifted 30 pixels away. And see what is happening. It is not respecting the other element. I say 50 pixels. This element is overlapping the other element. Let us use left property, 100 pixels. See, it is out of the container. You may say, sir, this is removed from the normal flow of the page. I will say no. Why no? Because still the original space of this element is vacant there. It's not that these elements have shifted at the top, just like that float property. So this element, which one? This one. Element whose class name is 2. It is in the normal flow of the page, but it is shifted from its normal position. Question may arise in your mind, sir, what is use of shifting element from its normal position? Actually, if you need some animation effects, then you can use this relative property and you can shift, you can move the element from its original position. After this first div element, I will add one image here. I am writing image selector. Let me make its position also relative. The box position is calculated according to the normal flow then the box is offset relative to its normal position. Let us give offset values. Top 150 pixels, left 40 pixels. See, the position elements do not respect other elements. Here this second div element is overlapping the image is overlapping the third div element, right? Now you want that image should be completely visible. Image should overlap this second div element. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. CSS provides one property called as Z index, Z-index. By default, Z index is auto for all elements. Z index, or in simple words, you may say it is stack order. You can assign some number to this property. Of course, that number has meaning only when your elements are non-static in position. That means if elements are relative, absolute or fixed in position, then only this Z index value, its number value has meaning. You got this? Now in this stack order, in this Z index, which one is shown at the front, which one is at the top of the stack? The element whose Z index value is highest. The elements are shown in descending order of their Z index value. The element with highest Z index overlaps other elements. You got it? For example, see here, Z index 2, this is 1, this is 0. You can use negative value also. Here 200, 100 and minus 5. So what we will do here, we will use Z index property. We want image should overlap other elements. So for image, we will give Z index value, and let us say 2. Yes, it is shown at the front. For this second div element, means the one whose background color is chocolate, we will say Z index is 1, and for this green one, yellow green one, Z index is 0. If I say Z index of this yellow green element is 5, it is not shown at the front. Why? Because it is static by position. You make it non-static, you make it relative, then it will be at the front. It will overlap those other two elements. You want to see hidden part of this image, what you can do? You can reduce opacity of this yellow green element. You know, by default opacity is 1.0. You reduce it. I am making it 0.6. Yes, this hidden part of the image is shown as background here. So I hope the concept of positioning, at least relative positioning, is clear to you. Let us now discuss absolute positioning. Here within container 3 there is container 2. Within container 2 there is container 1, and within container 1 there are 2 div elements. Now outside container 3, let me add one div element whose class name I will keep special. I want to have some text within this div element. Shortcut is use of curly braces. In curly braces you write the text which you want. For this special element, let me put some background. Yes, it is occupying complete width of the body element, its parent. There is no margin here. Actually, some default margin is provided by browser for every div element, but we have used here at the top the wildcard selector, universal selector, and in that we have mentioned margin should be 0 pixels. Alright, now for this special element, I am using the CSS property position, and this time it is absolute position. There is some change there. Yes, width of the element is reduced. See, when an element is positioned absolutely, that time it gets width just to wrap its content. Now let me use property top. I am specifying top is 50 pixels. Where it is moved? See, this is absolute position of this element. It is 50 pixels away from the top. This is 50 pixels. Are you getting it? 50 pixels from top of the screen viewport. Let me say left 100 pixels. So this top left corner of this element, it is 100 pixels away from left of the viewport and 50 pixels away from top of the viewport. Instead of top, if I write bottom is 0 pixel and left is also 0 pixel, see where it is placed. This absolute positioning is with respect to the screen viewport. 0 pixels from bottom and 0 pixels from left. You remember this sentence when working with absolute positioning. An element is absolutely positioned relative to its closest non-static ancestor. This is important. Closest non-static ancestor. Now in our case, this element, this special div element, it has no non-static ancestor there. In fact, this element is placed directly within body element. Body is its parent and body is static by position, by default, right? That means there is no non-static ancestor for this div element. If there is no non-static ancestor present, then the absolute positioning is with respect to the screen's viewport. You got it? So let us complete this sentence. Otherwise, the element is absolutely positioned relative to the screen's viewport. Now what I am going to do? I am going to move this element within the innermost container, that is container 1 at the end. Still its position is same because still the absolute positioning is with respect to the screen's viewport only, right? Now let me make container 3 non-static by position. That means position I will declare other than static. Let it be relative here. What happened? This special div element, its positioning is with respect to this container 3 now. 0 pixels from bottom, 0 pixels from left. Absolute positioning. Absolute positioning with respect to container 3. Suppose for container 2 also I declare position is relative. See, for container 1. So guys, I hope this concept of absolute positioning is very much clear to you. Let me stop here. See you then in next video.